All right, how about the Kansas City Chiefs, who, like, listen, I'm not going to sit here and say this was a perfect offensive day or anything, and, I'll make another video about the other side of the ball, but gotta talk about how they looked good in this game. I mean, there were some issues, and we'll talk about the issues, but as a whole, they definitely, I thought, played a good game, especially given the weather and all of that stuff. So, yeah, let's just get into it. Let's start off with this play, why don't we? Because this is kind of a good example of what really the Dolphins were trying to do, which was, hey, we're going to play man coverage, which you could almost sometimes have to do with this kind of weather. A lot of defensive coordinators feel like man coverage is much better when you're not able to cut as quickly. Zone coverage, there's so much reaction, and if you can't go as quick, windows can get wide open. And here, they're all-out blitzing. And this is something they were doing pretty frequently, was go with the all-out blitz, hope that they can man up on the Kansas City Chiefs receivers, which, let's be honest, a lot of teams were doing this season. But the emergence of Rashee Rice these past couple of weeks is a really important thing to talk about. Watch how on this play, Rice is going to, at this point, there's a good enough space to where over the middle is going to be wide open for him, which is where he's cutting. Watch as Mahomes sees this, he puts it in a spot where Rice can grab it, and Rice does great work after the catch on top of it. They get a big chunk play that, on a 3rd down and 10, that got them into field goal range there. So being able to make it go from a 1-score game to a 2-score game, always nice to see if you're a Chiefs fan. And that's definitely what was happening is, when things weren't going well, it was usually the Chiefs were doing a pretty good job, the Dolphins were doing a pretty good job at covering up the Chiefs, but, definitely it would go both ways. And also this was an important aspect of the game, I thought, where it's going to be a cover 2 man play on a 4th down and 4. So again, huge play in this game. It's similar to the last play, except the last play, unlike, where Mahomes had to get rid of the football quickly, Mahomes is going to have a little bit more time, but also down the field might not be as open. Mahomes takes the snap. He is going to look down the field, and at this point, he just doesn't love what he sees. So, okay, what do? It's 4th down and 4. You could just send a prayer, but instead watch him scramble up and be able to get past the defensive lineman, and at this point, again, I think a lot of quarterbacks might just make sure they get past the 1st down marker and then go down, but that is obviously not what Mahomes is going to do. As you see, Mahomes is going to scramble up, and he picks up a ton of yards, gets them, a 1st down and goal situation where, I thought they probably should have had a touchdown. There's a play that was called back, which I thought should have been a touchdown, but, either way, definitely those are some key plays and some things that were probably very frustrating for Vic Fangio. Although going over here, we have to talk about the miscues here for Kansas City. I'm going to show a couple plays because definitely this was an aspect of the game, right? And to some degree, it makes sense. Like, I don't know how much I can really criticize the Chiefs players, and I kind of lean towards not at all, just due to the weather conditions. Like, watch how on this one, Mahomes, it's, again, a heavy blitz. The Chiefs pick it up nicely. He gets the ball to Kelsey, who then drops it. This one, another one where Mahomes is going to throw the ball down the field. Looked like maybe a communication thing, or, he underthrew it, something like that. And in this one, another drop by Kelsey. So some just miscues there, a couple touchdowns potentially being left off the board right there. So definitely some tough situations there by Kansas City. And you do have to wonder, everyone kind of talked about going into this game, cold weather, how is that going to affect Miami? How is that going to affect the Dolphins? They play in Miami. Can they handle it? Well, listen, it's cold for both teams, right? And while, yes, the Chiefs are more used to it, it still is cold for both teams. So definitely there were some missed opportunities, and again, I'm sure that Kelsey's going to say after the game he should have caught those passes, but you have to figure if this was 72 degrees, he probably does. They had their moments of running the ball effectively as well. It was up and down for sure, but they had their moments like this play. This was on that initial touchdown drive. You're going to see Mahomes hands the ball off, and this is going to go pretty well here for Pacheco. He first initially is able to get to the 2nd level, and this is also where Pacheco can make some, extra good stuff happen. Watch him, listen, nothing crazy, but, once he gets to the 2nd level, but still is able to fall forward and pick up another 7 yards or so. So really good stuff there from Pacheco, and again, you wanted to make sure you had some semblance of a ground game going in a game like this, and they were able to do that. So another important aspect. Again, there were definitely moments where things got blown up right away, but also having some moments of this is certainly good. Heading over to a play like this, I was wondering, okay, what is the halftime adjustment going to be for Vic Fangio? I was wondering, do you maybe go with, a lot of robber concepts where you have a safety over the middle, a safety deep, and maybe you even go 3-man rushes. No, they were still going with a lot of pressure, still doing this, which I actually, again, I don't hate necessarily, but I do have some critiques, specifically. So watch how when this play begins. I mean, I'm going to highlight one specific Miami player, but this is the closest guy towards the first down marker. Again, situation matters a ton, right? This is a 3rd down and 5 situation. That's the guy closest towards the first down marker. The other 2 Miami players are even further deep. And when there's 3 Kansas City players there, it's like you're almost just giving up a first down right here. And it's like, if you're going to all-out blitz, I mean, I get it. You don't want to get beat behind because then you're giving up a touchdown. But it almost makes you feel like, well, if you're not doing this, then you're kind of leaving yourself open for them to be able to pick you apart underneath, which maybe is a strategy. Because, again, they were able to force a lot of field goals instead of touchdowns. But ideally, you would give up neither. As you see, Mahomes is going to easily just flip this one. And again, it's too easy for Kansas City. Kansas City can make some tough plays, right? Mahomes can make some tough plays. Rashee Rice can make some tough plays, all of that stuff. Don't make it easy for them. And in my opinion, there were examples of them just simply making the tough play. There were also just too many examples of them, being able to do stuff like that, where it was just too easy for them. Also, something like this, like, listen, I never like to be the guy who's like, oh, who wants it more or anything like that. But it might just be as simple as, I mean, again, I don't know how much to talk about the weather. I don't know exactly how much it matters. But either way, let's just talk about the play itself. Again, a blitz by the Miami Dolphins here. Watch what's going to happen. Mahomes is going to take the snap. He ends up flipping it out to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And right here, I mean, this looks to be like this play is going to be stopped short, right? I mean, Campbell has a pretty good positioning. Like, come up, make the tackle, which, again, keep it a 2-score game. It's a tough 2-score game. You're down 15 points at that point, but still, you have the opportunity to come back in 2 scores, which, at this point in the game, 12 minutes left in the 4th quarter, matters a lot. However, you see that Edwards-Helaire is able to fight. He picks up the first down. Maybe if it's 4th down and 1, that they still end up going for it and getting it, I don't know. But again, you would have loved to have that opportunity if you're Miami and they weren't able to get it on a play like that. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Again, thought it was a really good day in a lot of aspects. I thought Mahomes certainly played really well. Again, they didn't ask him to do like a ton. He didn't have any of those like crazy, left-handed throwing the ball 70 yards down the field type of plays too much. I mean, a couple deep shots, things like that. But he made the plays he had to. He made a couple of those Mahomes classic plays, and for the most part, just ran the offense, which, again, that's sometimes the game in front of you, and he does a great job at playing the game in front of him. Mahomes, here's a hot take, still really good at football and showed it here in this one. And, good stuff by the Chiefs offense. Need to do better in the red zone. That's definitely the one aspect you have to look at. But as a whole, good stuff. That's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.